Look, you gotta stop calling me. I'm in the middle of recording my Anime is for Kids video. Oh, sorry, but thanks. I figured out what I was gonna get for my niece now. Bye! Oh, wait, shit. Don't tell me you took that literally. I'm gonna have to solve this. Play the video in the meantime. Well, first of all, what we need to realize is that anime is actually for kids. A truth with modification to be more precise, but most anime's target audience is kids and teenagers. After all, Shonen is one of the most popular genres, which, in case you missed it, literally translates to boys' comics. And it's for this reason a vast majority of shows take place in school, or with characters in school age. Because they want the audience to be able to relate. In fact, it's rare to follow an older adult in these shonen shows. But there is one final note. Just because you target a certain audience does not mean you hit it, or at least it's not the only one you hit. Death Note is a show that does just that. It is by definition a shonen since its target audience were teenagers, but it deals with topics that I believe to be more relevant for young adults or even older audience than that. From the first couple of episodes, there is a philosophical discussion about justice. What is justice, and is it really fair that criminals cost hardworking people a lot of money? Not to mention the risk of becoming a victim of crime. And while most even younger audience members will agree that Light is far too extreme in his actions, the older you are, the deeper you understand where Light is coming from. When I come home from work tired as hell and turn on the news just to hear that a criminal has done something horrible to someone, I can't deny that I sometimes feel like the world would be a better place without them. Now, I won't stray too far into politics, and that's my point. Once you start talking about Death Note, it's very hard to avoid political questions like capital punishment and how we view and treat criminals in society. And I don't know about today's kids, but I definitely did not spend my childhood years thinking about the moral implications of criminal behavior in society. But to be fair, for every Death Note there are a dozen who don't go that deep, and that's okay, because you know what, it's time to call out the hypocrisy. You see, a lot of these people that say that anime is for kids have no issues going to the movies and watching a Marvel movie, or the new Lego movie, a Disney movie, or you name it really. Because while these shows and movies can have some deep messages, both in tone, setting and the events that take place, they are way different than something targeted towards adults. Deaths, for example, are treated way differently depending on who the target audience is. Among many things, for example, the infamous "the character didn't die because he didn't die during a scene" trope, and furthermore, rarely do we dwell on these random characters' deaths or other moral questions. Usually the MC is pretty carefree and feels morally justified in what he's doing. But you know what? Maybe that is just something a lot of adults need in their life, a somewhat childish retreat. A healthy form of escapism from an adult world that is often quite cruel. Or, I mean, we just like childish shit, and that's okay as well, to be honest. Even if the previous statement can be true, everything does not need to be super deep, and sometimes it's okay to just lean back and relax, play your favorite game, watch your favorite movie, or watch some anime. But if you don't want to do that, there is actually anime targeted towards adults. Seinen is a smaller yet still quite big genre of manga and anime targeted towards older teens and young adults. Which still makes me feel a bit left out as a 26-year-old, to be honest, but hey, I will take what I can get, and I do still feel I can relate a lot with some of these shows. They are not always as quickly paced as we can see in the recently aired Vinland Saga, and often it contains more adult themes. Not just adult stuff in that sense, but also deeper questions and themes that might not be as appealing for a younger audience. One example of the more mature themes would be Monster, which starts with a top-class surgeon being ordered not to prioritize saving the people only he can save, including children, but instead people of importance like celebrities and political candidates to make the hospital look good. Or let's go to my favorite manga, Berserk. It has a central theme towards the second part of the manga of whether it's better to get revenge or forgive and try to be happy. A shonen covering the same topic would probably just give you the answer, most likely even an ending in which he can do all three. He gets to fight Griffith, defeats him, spares him, then he runs off and lives happily with Casca, as previously mentioned, carefree, and who will always know what's right and push towards that. But Berserk is not a shonen, it's a seinen, and therefore he's often told he can't get both, and spoiler, that's exactly what ends up happening. Throughout the manga, if he starts going down the revenge route, he notices the things he cares for is slipping away, but if he tries to care for them, he notices it gets harder to get revenge. And that's why I tend to really enjoy seinen, but I guess that is also the reason why shonen is so appealing in a way. The idea that for the most part it will work out in the end. But what if you could get the best of two worlds? Well, these days there are manga and anime being made which both target teens and older audience members. One Punch Man is a perfect example of this. For a younger audience, it's badass action, comedy, and classical superhero stuff that, if I'm to be completely honest, even I as an older audience member enjoyed. But there's also a theme of searching for purpose. Disregarding the fact that young people are more depressed than ever, I still think that core search for purpose in life is something more common for adults to go through. And if you don't agree, at least us adults most likely will recognize ourselves in job hunting for jobs we don't really care about. We will recognize working at a place that no longer challenges us, where everything feels easy and mundane, and our biggest issue is forgetting about the sales on eggs at the local supermarket, getting stuck in the same routine, searching for that excitement about life that we once felt. And that's why I picked up YouTube. So if you enjoyed the video so far, make sure to like, subscribe, and all that gas. And if you don't, well, I will be sad and my YouTube channel will face a gory fate. Speaking of gore, yeah, that transition was not forced at all, right? The whole short series that inspired this video was in fact based on that kid cartoons don't involve this or that, among many other things. And while even childhood shows like Avatar, without going into the anime debate on that one, have great and to be honest pretty deep messages throughout the show. And some children's shows have great action and even deal with moral dilemmas and to a certain degree even politics. However, not a single of these childhood shows will show the amount of gore there is in an anime that is not intended for children. I mean, look at Chainsaw Man as another example. Speaking of, the dude I was talking to earlier was about to buy his 8-year-old niece Chainsaw Man, so thank God I managed to stop that. Not because it isn't great, as you can see I've covered it several times, but by now you should figure out that some manga and anime is not for 8-year-old kids. Now, if you know someone who's about to commit the same mistake that my friend did, or who just tells you that anime is for kids, please send them this video, it will help the channel out. With that said, bye!